You're listening to Points Talk with the Travel Mom Squad, previously known as the Travel Hacking Mom Show. Follow the links in the show notes to stay up to date with what the Travel Mom Squad has been up to. Looking for warm weather, endless sunshine, and crystal clear waters? How about an ideal destination for snorkeling, diving, fishing, other water sports, or if you're like us, just relaxing on the beach? Come along as we take you to the Caribbean today, all on points and miles, of course. Welcome to the Travel Hacking Mom Show. We are three moms who've discovered how to leverage credit card welcome offers to get hundreds of thousands of dollars in travel expenses for nearly free. We've used credit card points and miles to take vacations to places like Hawaii, Paris, Greece, the Maldives, Italy, and so much more. And the best part? We each still have an 800 plus credit score. Imagine being able to book a vacation without having to check your bank account. It's totally possible, and we're here to show you how. Hey, I'm Alex.
And I'm Pam, Alex's mom.
And I'm Jess. We are Travel Hacking Moms. One of the most popular destinations for travel hacking is the Caribbean. And today we are going to share with you 3 places we have used points and miles for beachy vacations. Get ready to hear all about Aruba, Grand Cayman, and St. Kitts today. So Pam, do you want to start us off with your trip to Aruba?
Absolutely. Also, I think it's really interesting. I heard Jessica say Caribbean. I always say Caribbean. What do you say, Alex?
Caribbean, I think.
Isn't that interesting?
I don't, but you know what? Caribbean. I think I say Caribbean. I don't know what's right, though.
Okay, I can switch it up and I'll say Caribbean for the rest of...
No, you say it the way you want to say it. Caribbean. I like it. You do you, Jess. You do you.
Exactly. That's my favorite thing. You do you. So a few years ago, I have a good friend, and every year we do a trip together. And she had gotten the Marriott deal that sometimes comes out. I think it just ended for the Bonvoy Boundless, where you get 5 50K certificates. And so we were trying to figure out where we could use them. And I started looking. And I thought, okay, she wanted to go somewhere beachy. I've been to the Caribbean before, and I love the crystal clear turquoise water that I always find there. And I'd heard about Aruba, and we decided that was where we were going to go. The trouble is in getting to the Caribbean from the West Coast is that you either have to fly a red-eye flight, which I'm not going to do, or you have to stay usually over on the East Coast.
Well, not all the time. We didn't have to do that this last time, but oftentimes, many of the flights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, often times. And that's kind of the flights that we were seeing. Plus, she was coming from California. I was coming from Colorado. And to make that work, that's what we had to do, is that we stopped over in Dulles, I believe, spent the night there with credit card points and miles, and then continued on. And we used United miles for that flight. I think it was about 30K each way. That's how we did it. There are several nonstop ways that you can get to the Caribbean. On American Airlines from Miami is a nonstop flight. And I think it's only about 20,000 points or miles. So that's a good thing. You can go from JetBlue from New York City. That's really a good deal at 13,000 miles. And then you can go on Southwest. Another direct flight is from Orlando for 22,000 miles. So there's lots of different ways. But sometimes, I kind of feel like going to the Caribbean, I have a lot more empathy for people from the East Coast who are wanting to go to Hawaii, because it's either a really, really long day or it's a stop on the other coast. And so, it's manageable, but it's long. And I think, Jessica, even when you went to St. Kitts, didn't you spend the night in Miami or somewhere?
Who is Jessica? No, I'm just kidding.
Jessica. Every now and then I call you Jessica. And my daughter.
I know. And I feel like I'm in trouble. I'm like, what did I do?
My other daughters will say, who's Jessica? I said, I don't know why I do that. I think I read your name on something and it says Jessica. I start calling you Jessica.
Yes, I did stay overnight. I had to fly through Miami to St. Kitts. So I did stay overnight at a Hyatt by the Miami airport when I did that.
One thing I just want to notice real quick is I noticed, Mom, you explained what the points were for those flights to the Caribbean. And I'm laughing when I say, because I'm like, wait, is it Caribbean or Caribbean now? You guys have me all mixed up. I'm like, which one do I call it? I guess whatever just comes out of my mouth. But anyways, those pricing, I'm guessing those were just like specific to your date. So don't like feel like, oh, I'm going to go look and that's exactly how much it's going to cost. Because that was probably just the dates when you were looking to go, I'm assuming, Mom, right?
Yeah. And actually they were good deals. One trick that I always do when I'm planning a trip is I will pull up the 30-day calendar. And so I have a lot of flexibility in when I can travel. So I pull up the 30-day calendar and then I can pick the cheapest flights. So those were probably some of the cheaper deals. So that is something that really works well. So if you're going to go to Aruba, there are a ton of different hotels. Probably every single hotel chain that you can earn points and miles is represented there. Like I said, we had these Marriott points, these certificates that we wanted to use. And so that's how we decided where we were going to stay. And we stayed a couple nights at the Marriott Stellaris Resort and Casino. And I was really kind of concerned about staying there because it said casino and I could just see Las Vegas. And the hotel was going to smell like smoke like Las Vegas used to all the time when I'd stayed there. But it wasn't like that. It was a lovely resort. It was right on the beach. Right now, you could stay there for probably the lowest is about $59K. And so you could still use an annual night certificate, and you could just top off it with an additional 9,000 Marriott Bonvoy points. So it's a good stay. Our second, you know me, I hotel hopped for a while, Jess. It's not anything that's just brand new. So we then went to the Renaissance Wind Creek Aruba, and they have actually two hotels for this. There's a marine side hotel, and then there's an ocean side hotel. We stayed in the marine side hotel, and that can be booked for right around a little over $50K still. And that wasn't the perfect side for us. I mean, it was really nice. If you like a little more nightlife, if you want kind of the crazier crowd, that's the side you want to stay at. I wish we'd stayed at the ocean side part of that resort, but and we could go to either resort, use the pools, use the facilities. We could have breakfast at either place. And the really nice thing about these resorts that I really loved was that you get day access to what's called Flamingo Beach, and it's gorgeous. So you get carried over there on a boat, and as the name suggests, there are tons of pink flamingos over there. You can use their equipment to snorkel. You can have lunch over there. We would go over there. We went over there a couple times, and we would just spend the day there. And it was simply gorgeous. And so I really have a special spot in my heart for the Renaissance Wind Creek because you got that access to Flamingo Beach. And it was pretty amazing. If I was to go again, as much as I like that, I probably would stay at the Hyatt Regency Aruba because that's only 25K points. And having globalists, status, I could get my free breakfast, and that's probably where I would stay. Another place that if you're going to take a family, you might want to consider is a Holiday Inn. We have a reader who wrote us a reader success story, and he stayed there. It wasn't even just with children, just he himself, and he thoroughly enjoyed it. So that's a great choice if you're trying to bring a family there. And literally, other than going to Flamingo Beach, we read, we swam, and we relaxed. And that's what a Caribbean trip is all about to me.
I do want to say, well, two things. I think the Hyatt Regency Aruba went up a category. And so now it's a category 7, which would be 30,000 points a night.
I'm looking at the off-peak dates, of course. I'm going to say.
Oh, off-peak. Okay. Yes. So off-peak 25K, even at 30K, still an amazing deal. We actually had a trip to the Hyatt Regency Aruba booked for the summer of 2020. And as you know, that got canceled. And we have yet to make it back there. But it's definitely on my list of properties that I want to visit.
Well, when you said that hotel, Mom, I was like, wait, I don't think Jess has been to this one. And so it's really unusual to there be like a Hyatt property, that's a higher category, maybe a nicer property that Jess hasn't been to. So I need you to go back, rebook that and go so you can tell us how it is.
Or Pam could come with me and I could just stay there. She could hop around. She could go to the Holiday Inn. She could try, all of the...
She could go back to Flamingo Beach.
Little hotel hopping, huh?
Yeah. If you've listened to our previous episodes, you'll you'll understand the joke that my mom's a big hotel hopper and Jess thinks that sounds terrible.
All right, Alex, tell us about Grand Cayman.
Yeah. So my mom and I went back in March to the Kimpton Seafire in Grand Cayman. To get there, we flew into Robert Owens International Airport, and you can book flights there on United, Southwest, Delta, JetBlue, or American Airlines. So lots of options. Like my mom mentioned earlier, coming from the West Coast or, west side of the United States can be a little tricky. And me, I fly Southwest a lot. That wasn't going to be an option because I was going to have to go and fly and stay the night. And if I'm just flying by myself, I don't typically fly Southwest as much. It's more so when I'm flying with my family since we have the Southwest Companion Pass. But we actually got really lucky and found some really nice flights on United going there. So I actually flew to Denver because it was a lot cheaper than flying out of Salt Lake. So I joined my mom in Denver. We flew from Denver to Houston. Sadly, our layover wasn't long enough. Otherwise, Jess would have tried to meet us in the Centurion Lounge for a meetup, but that didn't work out. So we went from Denver to Houston and then Houston to Grand Cayman. So it wasn't bad at all. Like our layover, got there at a decent hour, nothing terrible at all. On the way home, we did American Airlines and connected in Charlotte. And once again, no red eyes, anything like that. Like we got really fortunate to find some really good flights. So we stayed at the Kimpton Seafire, as I said, and to stay there, it cost 70,000 points a night. And I had 140,000 points from a sign-up bonus that I actually had opened the card a while ago and just didn't really have a plan for how I was going to use the points. I needed to get a card like right then because we had a big purchase. At the time, it was a good bonus. Now 140,000 is just like kind of a standard bonus for that card. So I got that card. And that would get me 2 nights at the Kimpton Seafire. Obviously, I want to go for a lot more than 2 nights. So I actually bought 35,000 points. And IHG is one of those programs, probably actually, I would say maybe the best program to buy points with because they just make it really worthwhile. They can go a little bit further. They don't charge as much for them. And so here's the biggest part of all that is if you're going to buy IHG points, you want to buy them when they have a bonus going on. So I bought the points when they had 100% bonus. So I bought 35,000 points, but I got 70,000 points. So that got me a 3rd night. Because I had the IHG credit card, I got the 4th night free. So it was really cool because I only had enough nights for 2, but I was able to, kind of finagle my way into a 4-night stay. The cost to buy those points was $350. The cash rate at the time was over $1,000 a night. So I felt really good about buying those points. And buying those points didn't just get me my 3rd night, they got me the 4th night from having that credit card. So that was really cool. And I would do that deal again. Hands down. I'm actually planning on getting another IHG card so I can go back there because I loved our stay so much. The hotel's located right on 7 Mile Beach. And it's just the service. My mom and I were both saying one of the best hotels as far as service we'd been to in a really long time. They're so kind, so helpful, nice pool, plenty of seating. We were never having to fight for seats at either the pool or at the beach. One thing I really loved is they have these flags that are attached to your chair. And for Enneagram 9 Alex, she really likes not having to have somebody come ask her what she wants all the time. Because then I'm like, oh, sorry, I still don't want anything. I'm inconveniencing you and you're not making money because I'm just sitting in this chair all day and I don't need anything. So I love having the flags so I can just put up the flag when I want something. So it's really great. You raise your flag, and that's when they'll come by so you can just enjoy reading your book without having someone asking you if you want food all the time or more drinks.
Yeah, one of the things that I loved about that place, Alex, was the decor. I thought everywhere you looked, seating areas, the lobby, the little bar area inside, they were just, I don't know, it just was so cute, so well decorated. I remember at night they would do a little social hour where they would have a little cocktail hour. I think they were serving wine and stuff. What interested me were the food options. And I remember they had these little mini tacos one night, and I was like, oh my goodness, these are so amazing. And so they just do a really good job of making you feel special and taken care of. And again, I agree. The people would take us, get our seats for the beach or at the pool. They would just chat with us. And it was like they really cared and wanted to get to know us. It was really a nice stay.
It's also funny because when you were sending me pictures and videos, they were sending me pictures and videos of the room, and like they had this amazing ocean view and it was beautiful. And I'm like, oh, this looks really nice. And then you posted in stories the picture of the flags at the beach chairs. And I was like, okay, I want to go there. Like that's what tipped me over the edge I was like, I need to go somewhere where they have the little flags that I can raise when I want help.
I'm like, why does not everybody have this? You would save the workers so much time and energy not having to go around and ask somebody what they want all the time. So it was fantastic. They also we pretty much literally just relaxed the whole time, but we did go out on paddle boards, and they have paddle boards and other non-motorized sports available for you to use there. They have the beach was very calm while we were there. They do have some buoys set out. So there's a designated swimming area. They have these big floating mats out there so people can go lay out there. They have little yellow mats of just for one person that you could take out. And when you're just laying out there and the water's crystal clear, it felt really, I don't know, it felt really special. Oh, I'm just laying out here on my mat, relaxing in the Caribbean with my pina colada. It was amazing. And I for sure want to go back, and I want to maybe take my husband back or take the kids back. The resort, I feel like it was great if you don't want to take your kids. If you do want to take your kids, it's also great. It's one of those that can go either way. It didn't feel like it was noisy and crazy with kids there, but if you have kids, they're so kid friendly. They have a little water. It's toddler water park, maybe I could say. Although I feel like my older kids would still have fun.
Kind of like a splash pad-ish area.
Yeah, like a splash pad with a few slides. Yeah. Something you would probably find at in your local town that the city has. But that was cute and fun. I think it's not open all the time, but that's available. During that social hour that they have every night, they had also Capri Suns and fruit snacks for the kids. So that was really cute. And they have a restaurant right on the beach. I forget, it's Coco something. Don't remember exactly the name of it, but it was really good and just very picturesque for eating dinner there right at sunset. You're right on the beach. So if you go there, I highly recommend. And you don't need reservations for that restaurant. You can just go anytime. And it's open for lunch too. So we loved it. Can't say enough good things about it.
There's a lot to do in Grand Cayman, and we stayed at the hotel the whole time. So I think if I go back, I would go out and explore more. But we enjoyed our stay so much, we were perfectly fine just staying there.
Yeah, I completely agree. When we go back, we'll go do some stuff. I know there's a Stingray City, I think is what it's called. I think if I take my kids, they'd love to do something like that.
I am anxiously awaiting booking a stay there. I met the spend on my IHG card. I'm just waiting for the points to post, and then I will be booking the Kimpton Seafire because you influenced me.
I'm so excited to hear what you think about it.
So Jess had a trip to the Caribbean, and it's one I really want to do. Of course, it involves a Park Hyatt, and it involves a place that I've never been. So Jess, tell us all about St. Kitts.
Yeah. So earlier this year, I went to St. Kitts. It was just for a long weekend. So we were only there for 3 nights. And it was with 2 other girlfriends. We all met in Miami and then flew to St. Kitts together. So one of them is from Atlanta and one of them is from Nashville, and then I'm from Houston. And so it kind of made sense for all of us to just meet in Miami and then go to St. Kitts together. I feel like since the pandemic, it has been harder to find nonstop flights to the Caribbean. And now I don't know if I'm saying Caribbean or Caribbean. I said Caribbean initially. Okay. This is going to drive me nuts. Okay, so there used to be nonstop flights from Houston to St. Kitts. And I just feel like a lot of airlines have cut routes now. And so I had to fly to Miami. Pretty much American Airlines was my only option from Houston. I could have flown same day, but the connection was like 40 minutes. And for Monica Geller, a 40-minute connection does not fly, especially when I'm going international, because I'm like, that is just too stressful. So there's a Hyatt, I think there's a Hyatt Place and a Hyatt House, or maybe two Hyatt Places that are both really close to the Miami airport. So I flew in the night before and stayed at the Hyatt. I don't remember how many points it was. I think it was either like 8,000 or 12,000 points a night to stay there. So I used points for that. So that hotel stay was free. And then met up with my friends at the Miami airport the next morning, and we all flew American Airlines to St. Kitts. I had opened the American Airlines Barclays business card last year. And so I used American Airlines points from that to cover my flights. And we stayed at the Park Hyatt St. Kitts. So obviously I used Hyatt points to cover that stay. And so my friends who went with me are not travel hackers, but they were like, how about you use points for the hotel and then we will cover like all your extras, like your food and your drinks. And I will say that the food and the drinks at the Park Hyatt are pricey. And so I feel like I got a good deal on, like, I basically got an all-inclusive stay for myself at the Park Hyatt St. Kitts. So it worked out well. But yeah, so we were only there 3 nights. We mostly just hung around the hotel. I loved it. I would say it's not adults only, but I would say it's like more adult oriented. And like I did not see very many kids there. They do have, like, the restaurants have kids menus. They have a kids club that is included that's free when you stay there. And so it's definitely geared towards kids in a way. I just didn't see very many kids there at all. So if you're looking for like a romantic adult destination, I do think that this one fits the bill. I don't know if I'd go back with my daughter. Probably not. Like, I'd rather take her to the Kimpton Seafire based on what you said.
Would you go back with your husband?
Yes.
Okay. So it's one you're like, yeah, you're telling me I should go. That's what I'm wanting to know. Should I go?
You should go. There were not kids being loud by the pool. So
yeah, no, we're not invited to places like that. Nobody wants us there.
So probably not the best. Like, I think you should take your kids to Kimpton Seafire and take Mitch to the Park Hyatt St. Kitts. But it's it is like Caribbean luxury. You know, like it's very luxurious. Like I said, the food and the drinks are pretty pricey because it's a Park Hyatt and it's an island. And so like those two things combined, you're going to have pricey food and drinks. We did go one day. So like it's on St. Kitts, but then Nevis is just like right across from it. And so we organized a boat trip to Nevis through the Park Hyatt. We took the boat there. Someone picked us up and drove us around, and we got to go to Alexander Hamilton's house where he was born, which was really cool. So I might take my daughter's obsessed with Hamilton. I could see taking her back, like, just for that. But
well, and she's also not like, you bringing her, I think people would be fine with. She's like one child. She's more chill than like my 4 boys. So I think you could bring her back.
Yeah, she's content to just like sit by the pool and drink her strawberry daiquiri, and like she's not doing cannonballs or like throwing
a football across the
or throwing a football or anything like that. So, but yeah, so it was nice to like have the option. You know, it was a good mix of like just chilling at the resort and then also taking the boat over to Nevis. And it was super convenient because the boat dock is like right at the hotel. And so we just walked out to the dock. The boat picked us up, dropped us off. Someone that the hotel coordinated with took us on the tour of Nevis. And so it was just like a little fun half-day adventure to go over there. So yeah, I really liked it. I would go back in a heartbeat. I will say that like the service was a little slow at times. I feel like that's just the vibe. Like St. Kitts is just on island time, And so it's just you have to go in knowing that like if you're in a rush, it might not be the best place to go. But like we sat outside at dinner every night. It was beautiful. Food was good. And so we just kind of embraced it.
I've had two insights I wanted to talk about just as we've been talking. And one of those is it's really interesting on each of these 3 trips, we stayed at different hotel brands. That doesn't happen much for us because we are all so loving Hyatt right now. But I was at a Marriott. Alex and I were at a IHG. Jess, of course, was at a Hyatt. So I think that's really interesting to see that you can have points and miles from all of these different currencies or hotels, and you can find different places to stay. The other thing that I realized as we were talking is that these trips were all trips that we did with either family or friends. And that's really nice when you're travel hacking sometimes, because if my husband wanted to travel all the time with me, my points wouldn't go as far. And so I kind of embrace the fact that he's a little bit of that reluctant traveler because I can use a lot more points. So if Alex and I go somewhere, I'll do a couple nights with my points. She'll do a couple nights with her points. I know you've done that with your friends, Jess. And so it just makes your points last a lot longer. So it's a huge plus to get your friends involved in this points and miles game because you can just use your points and go more places. And that's what it's all about.
So let's talk about where we want to stay in the future. In the Caribbean, you know what I mean. Where are you eyeing next, Pam? Tell us about where you want to go.
Okay, well, we talked about having trouble with names. I'm going to have trouble with this name. I don't know if it's St. Lucia or St. Lucia. I think it's St. Lucia.
St. Lucia.
Yeah. So anyway, I am all about wanting to go to St. Lucia sometime. And the place that is most interesting to me, some of these Caribbean islands don't have a huge number of hotels that you can stay at, but they have a Zoetree. A Zoetree is you can book through Hyatt. It's an all-inclusive boutique brand. It looks really interesting to me. I have found more and more that I am loving the boutique feel in hotels. They seem to be a little quirky, a little funky. They're different from all the other ones. So I'd really like to go there. It is an expensive hotel. It would be $42,000 off-peak to stay there. But that is my plan. That I want to do for 2024.
Okay, well, I'll go next. And this hotel I'm going to share was actually one that we were debating between my husband and I between going to the Maldives or going here. So back in 2022, I went to Maldives with my husband. And when I was booking that trip, I was very overwhelmed with the idea of going so far away from my kids, leaving them for so long, how long their travel is going to be. And so I considered going to Sail Rock Resort in Turks and Caicos. I looked into it. I found dates that are available just because it's not nearly as far as the Maldives. But then my mom was like, Alex, you have the points for Maldives. I'll come and watch your kids. It's going to be fine. You need to try this. You need to go to Maldives because when will you be able to go again? I mean, with travel hacking, you can make it work. But just the stars had aligned perfectly for Maldives to work. So she graciously watched the kids and went to Maldives. It was fantastic. And so now, though, I'm like, okay, we never went to Sail Rock Resort in Turks and Caicos. So that is still one I need to go visit. So this resort is in South Caicos, which is much smaller. You're literally just going in, you're going to be at the resort. It is very isolated. And so that's kind of why I was looking at it, because that's kind of how the Maldives is as well. It is bookable with your Hyatt points. It's part of the small luxury hotel group, which is really great because when you book with the small luxury hotels through Hyatt, you get free breakfast and room upgrades if they're available. And so that is one that I still want to go visit. I would love to go to Turks and Caicos. It's super high on my list. In addition to that, if I'm going to Turks and Caicos and doing that whole sometimes tricky flights to the Caribbean, I would like to also, while I'm there, go stay on, I think it's the main Caicos Island. I don't know my Turks and Caicos very well, you guys.
Grace Bay. You want to stay in Grace Bay at some point. It is incredible.
Yeah. So I just didn't know what part of the, what island. I don't think the island's called Grace Bay, but it's the beach area, right, Mom? Because you've been there. So there is a Ritz-Carlton there, and it is pricey. It has a lot of points, but I'm thinking if I save up my points, I could go to the Sail Rock Resort for 4 or 5 nights, and then go to the Ritz-Carlton. The Ritz-Carlton is fairly new, and I love a nice new hotel, and stay there for a couple nights, and then we could go home. So that is a place I really want to go. What about you, Jess?
Okay, so as I said, I'm actively trying to book the Kimpton Seafire as soon as I get those points in my account. But there's also another brand new Kimpton that's opening this summer in Roatan. I think it's Roatan or Roatan. I've actually been there before. Have y'all heard of this island?
No, but I just was looking at the notes.
It's part of Honduras, isn't it? Because I've been to Roatan, Honduras before.
Yeah, so it's off the coast of Honduras, and I have been there before many years ago, pre-travel hacking. The place that I stayed at was not even on the same planet, in the same universe as a Kimpton, because I paid cash for it, and I was in law school at the time and didn't have money, or points. But yeah, so there is a brand new Kimpton opening in Roatan, and I am dying to stay there. So I think I'm going to have to open another IHG. I just got the IHG personal card, and now I feel like I'm going to have to open the business one so I can get more IHG.
Well, I saw your notes, and I was like, oh, the Kimpton, Roatan, whatever. I was like, I vaguely remember hearing that this was opening, and so I'm looking at it right now on my IHG app, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sold already. So if you need somebody, if your family can't go, sign me up. We don't have to pay as many points. When you go with a friend, we could split it.
THM Retreat is calling our names because I am a major, major lover of the Kimpton brand.
I'm just laughing, though, because I think most episodes were we have to do a travel hacking mom retreat there. We're going to be doing these monthly.
Yeah. The nice thing, too, is there is a nonstop United flight from Houston to Roatan. And so y'all could just stop. Y'all could just lay over in Houston. I could jump on the plane and we could all fly down there. And the water in Roatan is the most beautiful water I have ever seen. So that plus a Kimpton, I feel like we have to go.
I'm sold. And you know what I was thinking, too, is even if we don't have enough points, like I said before, IHG is one of those brands where it can make sense to buy their points. So if we just wait for a sale, we use the points we have. If we don't have enough, we can just buy some points and go stay there.
Sounds good to me. What about you, Pam?
I'm in. I'm there with you. THM Retreat. We don't have anything planned for 2023. Maybe that should be it.
All right. A trip to the Caribbean promises a unique and unforgettable experience, made all the better by it not breaking the bank to get there. We are so glad to share our experiences with you, and if you have a friend who might be interested in points or miles, share this podcast with them. If you have a minute and enjoy the podcast, please leave us a review. Your support means the world to us. Thanks so much for listening to the Travel Hacking Mom Show. Make sure to hit the subscribe or follow button from wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. Want to start jet setting even faster? Follow the links in the show notes to learn about everything we discussed in today's episode. And to stay connected and follow along, follow us on Instagram at Travel Hacking Mom. We can't wait to see where in the world points and miles take you.